Hello and welcome to the first official episode of Go on the Grind. I'm your host Kimi, and today I'm with.
Hello, I'm Pablo. My name is Pablo. I am from Ecuador. Well, nobody knows me, but I've been interested and enjoying Gore music for 20 years already. It's quite a pleasure, quite an honor, really, to be invited by Kimi Koster, this awesome show, this awesome podcast. And well, let's get started with
Yeah,
everything you want to know about this topic, Kimi.
yeah,
Thank you for your invitation.
you're welcome. The first question I've written here is how did you get involved in the Go grind scene? Like, did you hear a band and you're like, oh, this is awesome, or did a friend let you listen to one?
All right, let me tell you my story.
Okay.
It will take quite a few minutes, actually.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Okay,
Talk.
I've never been involved in any kind of scene at all. Always quite a loner, actually. It was, let's say, 1998 when my older sister's boyfriend introduced me to Sepultura's Arise. That thrash metal album changed my life completely. It blew my mind, and it was funny because the guy was a very alternative rock musician, and he just showed it to me just for general knowledge. And I got very much into it, and he was teaching me guitar, and the guy got really pissed off because everything I wanted to do was playing faster and heavier, faster and heavier, faster and heavier, and the guy was pissed off because he showed me Sepultura, Carcass, Brujeria, Napalm Death, and just for general information, but I was so much into it. The guy started teaching me. He didn't want to do anything with me, and I had to start developing myself alone. I was 12, 13 years old, 13 years old in 1998, and his brother and another friend of his were quite different. They were very much into extreme music. They had a power violence, hardcore grind band among themselves, just the two of them. And this guy, one of these guys was a collector of extreme music. He always had contacts going through mail and everything. And so in the year 2000, when I met this guy who played with my former teacher's brother, he started recording tapes of his music for me, recording, and eventually I started getting contacts of people, trading music, buying music through post mail. Yes, there was some internet, but it was just emails like, "Hey, what is the price? Tell me your address. I send you blah blah blah." You still had to wait 1 month to get your music
Yeah.
at home, and it was really interesting because I started getting extreme hardcore bands, power violence, grindcore, noisecore, gore grind. This guy, this collector, was very much into noisecore and all the stuff. But he also had gore grind. And what caught my attention in 2001, yeah, was how heavy the guitars of gore grind were. I mean, everybody talks about grind in general, like, yeah, some gore grind, some hardcore grind, some grindcore. And no, man, gore grind had the heaviest guitar shit ever invented, and I was playing guitar. So I said, okay, this is the heaviest shit. And when he lent me a chapter of accidents by a dead infection, it hooked me. It was like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. It was like a chainsaw, like a rusty chainsaw
Yeah.
racing your ears. And I said, okay, this is my thing. I've always been a metal guy, actually, than a grind guy, but a metal guy who got very caught into the grind stuff. And yeah, that's when I started taking this thing seriously. Well, let's make a brief a brief description of my band. In 2002, I founded this band El Muermo. We did two splits. The best one is the first one with Tu Carne. And I left the band in 2004. I formed my solo project Dolu Parun, very fast and heavy, just the way I wanted. Uh, and it was a solo project, but my recordings had problems to be signed by the labels and everything. So everything came out after I had stopped playing in 2009. Okay, and last year with my friend, with another friend, I resurrected Oluparun just for one recording, which is going to come out soon in a tape format by a German label. And we resurrected this Oluparun stuff last year, but it's just one EP recording, 10 years after I stopped playing.
Yeah.
And during the last 10, 11 years, I've been playing more metal with my band Master of Genocide, this year we decided to change name because it doesn't mean anything for me anymore. We are changing names to Gigantic Red to honor the giant red stars. It's a different whole approach, and yes, I'm pretty much into metal. Well, this year we are like on hiatus, like on like on like on vacation time right now, but we will continue playing sooner or later as Gigantic Red. But my main band has been Master of Genocide for the last 11 years. And that's pretty much my career, my review of my main bands. I have made other projects, but they are not relevant for this topic of today.
Yeah. Oh, that's like a story that makes me like. I think it's a great story, you know, like how just like first with your sister's your older sister's boyfriend, I think it was, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that he started learning you guitar and you wanted to be faster and heavier, like all that shit. It's great, you know. Like I
yeah, but it was hard, you know.
yeah.
At the beginning, I was very discouraged because the guy was a bad teacher. He
Oh,
always despised what I did. He always got pissed off with me and started even saying, "Hey, you're not good enough" and things like that.
ah,
He
damn.
was a very bad influence actually.
Yeah,
So I spent like 2 years without playing before I actually encouraged myself to self teach
yeah,
to self teach and self learn everything. I mean, it was a very hard time when you have a bad teacher that gives a bad footprint,
yeah,
leaves a bad footprint in your life. But you start doing things by yourself and always looking forward to do something better, better and better. No matter what people say, it makes you stronger.
yeah. That's a good message. So everyone that's listening, that's listen to Pablo. That's a really inspirational and good message. Yeah, and like you're you know, yeah, like a few people in the Gore scene. For instance, my dad, Steven, and I think a few more, but yeah, a lot more maybe. But how would you describe like the people, not like individuals, but how would you describe like the Go Grind community as one? How would you describe it?
Okay, well, it's changed a lot. I met your dad. You know the story of how I
Yeah,
got in contact with your dad. Long story.
yeah,
It was when you were born and something related to you.
yeah.
But in general, I would say that my girlfriend friends are in Europe actually.
Oh,
Yeah. From all the people I used to be in contact with 15 or 18 years ago. Your dad is the only remaining contact that I have because most of them changed their personalities for some reason. I don't know. But what I see in your dad and other people nowadays is that core grind is all about fun. It's all about enjoying this adrenaline burst. of
Yeah.
glory with this brutality, you know.
Yeah.
And people don't fight. Gore grind people who I've met in Europe, and I've had contact with through mail, have been very friendly. And now that there is this Facebook group that I created dedicated to old school gore grind called People. Check it out.
Yeah.
Old school gore grind only. In
Check
this
it
group,
out.
check it out. People are very friendly. They don't fight. You can see other Facebook groups of metal, of grindcore, or whatever saying, this is more than just music. This is a way of life. This means this means this, and people fight among each other. In this Facebook group that we have, everything is all about cheering and fun and saying, "Hey, happy birthday! Hey,
Yeah.
let's check this somehow." Nobody fights. Everybody enjoys the music. Nobody has discussions and things like that. People are just happy and happy to be there now.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. I remember me joining that group. It was like at first I'm in more mellow groups, and as you said, people are arguing and fighting in the comments. Like I remember someone posted something about Slayer, and someone says, "Nah, Slayer, that's too brutal. It's not even music anymore." And I was like, then, "Ever heard about Gore Grind?" Oh yeah, and then yeah, that's a long story. Well, I remember like joining your group and saw it like for myself. People, I was hoping not many people go to arguing, but like it's a super friendly group indeed. Um,
Yeah.
People just being themselves and yeah, just they're happy in the group, and I think that's something you and all the people in that group are doing a great job at. Like just not arguing and fighting, but like if someone doesn't like this band you like, okay, so what? They're not gonna fight.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, like there's a guy who in the group who doesn't like rock and roll torture,
yeah,
I don't like this band. This ruins the whole rock grind scene. And, all right, you don't like it. They are great anyway.
yeah,
I mean, what can you do? And nobody fights.
yeah. Indeed. Yeah, yeah. That's something that's great. Like that's why that group is really like fun to be in. Just every day, just a new like an album today or a clip of today that you post. I think that's pretty cool. Like you're just keeping every day you're just posting an old school Goran song or album.
Yeah, well, as often as I can. Sometimes I have too much work till night, and
Yeah,
I'm too tired as
yeah,
for doing anything. But everything, every time I can, I post something because it's just keeping the spirit alive.
yeah, yeah. That's really great. And that and we talked about like metal, like between groups, but if you would separate grindcore and gore grind, what makes the really big difference?
Well, for me, as I told you, it is the sound. I'm always focused. Usually, I'm always concerned about the performance side. I'm not the kind of guy who's concerned about the messages and attitudes and morals of music. I'm always the a sound guy.
Yeah,
I'm always a sound guy. For me, playing music, especially when it's extreme music, any kind of extreme music, is like a sport. I mean, it's not about showing off what you think to the world because nobody cares. And even if you have a shocking attitude, it won't change a thing.
yeah,
But what music makes in my life is making me feel like I'm into some kind of extreme sport, something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. I'm a sporty guy,
yeah,
so it's all about uh, squeezing yourself to get the maximum performance as possible. And when it comes to gore grind, the maximum performance is the heaviest and the fastest.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and so can you can you correct this defect so this guitar can be more can be heavier? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Or
Yeah.
can you decrease the noise of the cymbals of the drum machine so the drums can be more solid and more broad? Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's do. It's all about details,
Yeah.
small details in the sound, your performance, your concentration, synchronization, squeezing the best out of yourself and getting your maximum performance. So to answer your question, the biggest difference is in how taken to the extreme the sound is.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's nothing heavier in the world. There are no vocals in this world heavier than pitch shifted vocals. I don't care what purists say. I don't care what anybody says. What music teachers say. There's I mean nothing gets heavier than that. Listen, listening to yourself through a pitch shifted microphone,
Yeah.
blasting off. Roar.
Yeah, I thought
It's
I've behind my my recording software. I've got a box with a pitch shifter. I've got it standing here. So yeah, it's a cheap one. It's not a really expensive one. So the sound is that good. But like, you can still hear something.
yeah. You can hear some. I mean, there are no heavier vocals than pitch shifted vocals.
I agree.
There are no heavier guitars in this world than Gore grind. No, I don't care what the brutal bangers of brutal death scene say. Nothing gets heavier than dead infection in chapter of accidents.
Yeah.
For instance, that's for setting an example. I mean, when uh, when you hear all these elements, the brutal guitar, the brutal vocals, combined with this thick,
Yeah.
thick snares, old school thick snare, like taken from a march band,
Yeah.
from a soldier band,
Yeah.
something like a machine gun, like rotting flesh,
Yeah.
things like that. It's like it's like what is this?
Yeah.
The sound, it's the ecstasy.
Yeah. And I think like that's something that's the part of Gore grind and always is a part of Gore grind. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think, and as you said, like just there's indeed nothing more heavier than that whole music genre.
Nothing gets heavier than that. I mean,
Yeah,
end of the line.
yeah, indeed. I fully agree. So
And nobody, and the best part is what we said. Nobody cares about what you're saying.
yeah,
Everybody cares about what you're doing with your music.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So question number 4. Is there any song or album that has a too extreme title or something? Is there anything in the Gore grind community that you say like that's too extreme, you know?
Real, rather than too extreme, I would say there are things that don't fit my taste.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, uh, I'm not shocked by it, but I've never enjoyed songs about raping.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a moralist. I'm not gonna judge the people who express their extreme feelings in music just to be peaceful in real life.
yeah,
I know what it's all about. I'm not gonna judge them. I have nothing against them. I respect everybody, but I don't enjoy any kind of song talking about rape.
yeah,
I mean, I mean, uh, uh, it takes the obscure element away from the music.
yeah,
It's not when it was for me the late 90s, the early 2000s, and listening to these obscure tapes, obscure albums with this filthy sound taken from the darkest places on earth, and you know it makes you feel like you are a serial killer and everything like that. It's like what kind of demented person
yeah,
this guy is. But when you start, I personally,
yeah,
without judging anybody, when I personally started noticing that many bands were like cheesy, funny, with many colors, and talking and with these colorful illustrations about raping women and things like that, it was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna enjoy songs about rape. I mean, when I have a girlfriend, I like to be nice and caring with her and treat
Yeah.
her well and being loving. I mean, why should I cheer rape? I mean,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right about that.
Yeah, I know that
In my
people have
opinion.
to
Yeah.
express their feelings, and it's like like a escape mechanism and things like that. That probably they don't mean to do that. I know that, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's your taste indeed. And now back to your group. You've got the old school Gorgon group. But like, is there any song or album that makes you think like if you have to choose one, is there any song or album that you like? This is how Gore Grind is like, how it sounds like or supposed to sound like.
Uh, there are many, and well, I'm not anybody to say how people
Yeah,
are supposed to play,
yeah,
but the interesting part is, uh, well, everything changes. Change is inevitable.
yeah,
Uh, for the for the for the people who don't know me and check the group out, I would probably sound like these purists who are obsessed with the past, and I'm not. I just like to keep the tradition of certain parts of the style from certain era, but change is inevitable.
yeah,
How it's interesting to see how it morphed, and every stage has been interesting. It all started like a mixture of death metal with the Napalm Death influence when Carcass made their own thing, and it was like that until let's say 1992, two or three, and Gore Grind at the beginning was a very metallic thing.
yeah,
Necrony, general surgery, everything was related to Carcass somehow. And there's another stage when Regurgitate finally released their debut album, Effortless Regurgitation. Uh, in 1994, it all changed.
yeah,
It changed the whole perception of gore grind. It didn't have to be so metallic. It didn't have to be so carcass like.
yeah,
It was its own thing.
yeah, yeah,
Gore grind became its own thing, but it took time. And you have in 1995 a chapter of Accidents by Dead Infection, which is very linked to Regurgitate. Those two bands made the genre evolve, And in the late 90s, early 2000s, even though Last Days of Humanity was old already, that was the time when they started to take off
yeah,
and being more and more renowned in the world. And yes, they made a whole revolution because they took the speed of the genre one step further.
yeah,
But let's not say that in '96 there was Rotten Flesh in Brazil, who played even faster than Last
yeah,
Day of Humanity.
yeah,
But they were not as famous as Last Days became.
yeah,
But I mean, every stage took the genre to another level, and this early 2000s era is my favorite because it was all brutal, all extreme,
yeah,
but at the same time, it was very proficient, very well recorded, very well played. The music started getting technical, more
yeah,
technical, and more blasting, more perfect. It was a blast for, every month something new was coming out. You received the news from abroad, and there
yeah,
were Gorgon news all the time. Well, since and those are the eras that I like.
yeah.
Since
Like,
2005.
yeah, there's like an album that I really like about in that era, and I think that's like the I think it's the debut album of Bard, like the French band.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think like that's really that sounds really good, and I think for most gore grind people, and they were like yeah, Gorgon is going to start. It's starting to sound really good. Like it has a good label, or it's becoming more professional actually.
Yeah, it was professional. It was
Yeah,
proficient. It was the top of the top. And well, things started to change in many directions from that point on.
yeah,
Because well, I love the feeling of God. Your dad's former band One Pop, Talking Vulture, they are great. But after they came out, many people started uh, splitting things in many directions. There were the imitators of them. There were also the imitators of Library of Humanity with the
yeah,
tiny piccolo, biri, 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 biri.
yeah,
And and there were also, and there have been many there have also been many people who mix the elements. They have the piccolo snare drums with brutal death guitars
yeah,
with big squeaks from the brutal death, and they call it gore grind. And that's when I stopped following. Nothing against them,
yeah,
nothing against them. I stopped following them because the whole gore grind label, the whole gore grind term became something else. It was
yeah,
not obscure. It was colorful. The drums were not heavy. The guitars were too polished,
yeah,
and the vocals were not pitch shifted. They had big squeals. So it all morphed. So that's when I make a division. I dedicate a group of Facebook to the pre 2006 era,
yeah,
to all the eras
yeah,
pre 2006. And well, as I tell you, change is inevitable. But but if you ask me what I like, what I prefer, I mean the obscure, fast and
yeah.
heavy stuff from from back in the day.
Yeah, because like there was one song that's a Gore song. It came out of 2006, I think, and it's from Canada. The Diaphragma, Human Monster was the song
From
called.
the Czech Republic.
Yeah, yeah, and that the song was called Human Monster, and that's like over 1 million views on YouTube because that song became so popular. But like they don't use pitch shifters; they're mostly like big squeals and like how do I say it, like gutturals, but like not from here, like from the nose, guttural snorts actually, like that sound. It's what they were using, and then you had a band again. That's a really long name, Vagina Penetration of Nomides with the Musty Carrot. Um, that's they started doing only. They had a really high pitched snare and like that kind of vocals, you know.
The frog vocals.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something. Yeah, I think that's the part of pitch shifting in Gore Grind. Like it's slowly getting less, and I think that's like nothing against the people that don't use pitch shifters or can't buy pitch shifter or something, but like I think that the Gore Grind is losing their some kind of their meaning or so. Like if you talk about Gore Grind, you talk about the music with the pitch shifters with the low pitched vocals, but
Yeah.
that's slowly it's fading away, the pitch shifters, and I think that's pretty sad to see.
Yeah, that's another element. The frog vocals are another thing.
Yeah, because
Well,
like
I mean, as I say, change is inevitable. It's
yeah,
part of life, and we better get used to it, or we will
yeah,
suffer because
yeah, sure,
nothing can get back to the way it used to be. But but yeah, I mean, the essence, what made Gore Grind special for me was this obscure brutality
yeah,
that made you wonder what is there behind this?
yeah,
How are guys up to? I mean,
yeah,
what do they have in their minds? How do they set up their guitars?
yeah,
How do they practice? How are they rehearsal rooms? It made you wonder, like,
yeah,
what kind of sick movies are they watching?
yeah,
It was this obscure feeling, you know.
yeah, yeah, and question number 6, we're already. If you had to make a top 3 list, of your favorite Gore grind bands, what would it be?
All right, that's not too hard.
Okay.
I got my favorite.
Apart from
Well,
your own, like apart from your own bands.
of course.
Yeah.
Well, I always say your own band has to be your favorite,
Yeah.
but never include it in a list.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
That's true. Well, my favorite band of this genre is Rotten Flesh from Brazil.
Yeah.
I mean, the blistering speed and the approach they had, it was more extreme than Last Days of Humanity. It
Yeah.
was really, really brutal. Of course, the sound was not as powerful because it was 1996 in South America. Come
Yeah.
on. I mean, but the band was really, really uh, the end of the line for the genre because there was nothing more exaggerated than that.
Yeah.
And well, there are. If I have to choose two other bands, let me see. I would choose Neurovisceral Exhumation from Brazil also.
Yeah.
In their album The Human Society Once More Gore.
Yeah.
It just represents the sound I love, and also Dead Infection with a chapter of accidents. I mean,
Yeah. That's like
that
I
whole
think.
album changed my perception of music.
Yeah. That's that infection is really up. My list is high up there. Yeah.
But in the Chapter of Accidents album, it's
Yeah.
top notch, and those guitars made me realize there was something beyond.
Yeah. Something beyond, like, and that's it's just a sound that makes it all good and great. Yeah.
It's like very low and brutal, but sharp at the same time. It
Yeah.
has everything. It's brutal and sharp.
Yeah. That's true. And question 7: is there any girl grind band from the newer generation, so after 2006, that you like?
Well, there are several actually. Well, unfortunately, there are so many that I don't remember the names. Most of them are posted by other people in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
But I remember Yakisoba,
Yeah.
Oniku from Japan has a very regurgitated
Yeah.
style. I like it. And there was a band from Taiwan. I don't remember the name. I mean, people. There is so much information that I'm receiving this year in the group that I cannot remember all the names.
Wait, what's that from Taiwan? What's it called? Jigai or something?
No, Jigai is from
Japan, right?
No, it's from the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic? Oh, Jesus, that's. My Gore knowledge has to be.
Don't worry. It's very logical because they have all these manga themed style.
Yeah.
It's very logical to think that.
Yeah.
It's a very small band with a demo on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
From Taiwan. It was awesome. Yakisoba, Oniku, and this Taiwanese band are awesome. And unfortunately, I've always loved the fastest stuff, but unfortunately, the fastest bands nowadays have the beady 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 sound.
Yeah.
That I don't like so much. I like Last Days of Humanity a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't enjoy it when
it goes like too fast.
Too equal.
Yeah, when it's not equal. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
They are too equal to Last Days of Humanity. Like, come on, I better press play to Last Days.
Yeah.
But I think all those bands have a lot of talent, which could be used for making even more intense music.
Yeah, that's true.
So it leads me to a spot when I don't care so much about the blistering speed, because the blistering speed bands have this style, and I prefer something solid, obscure, and brutal.
Yeah. That's I've like this sort of the same preference indeed. Yeah. And,
okay.
Let me see. Question number 8. Would you say that a pitch shifter or a harmonizer always has to be part of Gore grind band.
Well, as I say, I'm nobody as for telling people what to do, but
Yeah.
but if you take a listen to my stuff on in Oluparun,
Yeah.
it's 100% pitch shifter to the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like a picture. Yeah. It's like if you look at my dad's band Rumpelpop, gewoon if
yeah,
yeah they used to, my dad uses the pictures all the time and you can make such sound with that. I remember like when I was really young, let me listen to one of his songs, and I was like, "Wait, that's you? How did you?" I was constantly asking him to make
yeah.
that sound, but he didn't have
The
the pictures
interesting
anymore.
thing about your dad
Yeah,
is the variety of sounds he achieves with it, because
yeah,
most of our grinders achieve the
yeah,
very horizontal sound. But your dad knows how to combine high screams with pitch
yeah,
shifter. Sometimes he can get low, sometimes he
yeah,
can get high, sometimes he even laughs when he sings.
yeah, yeah,
Things
yeah,
like that, and your dad was a very unique vocalist
yeah,
back in the day.
yeah. I hope I'll be in his footprints one day. I hope like in the future to have Gore by myself. But like if I want to do that now, I mean I have got a pitch shifter and I have got everything I need to be a vocalist. Because if I would be in a Gore event, I'd love to be a vocalist. Um, but like at my age, I'm 15 years old. Yeah, how there's not I haven't met any single person that's like yeah I like Gore too and I'm like the same age. That's yeah. Just like I
Are
remember
you
like
saying that you have met or you haven't met people like me?
haven't I
You
haven't
haven't.
no
Oh yeah, even for me. Look, I'm 20 years older than you,
yeah
and even I was the young guy interested in old stuff.
yeah yeah I remember like I um I think I was yeah last year October 19 October, I was at my first Gorgon gig, and like it was super fun. Like Blue Waffle Sauerkraut was there, like the band I've got the shirt on right now. A Dutch band Kaasgaaf was there, and Rectal Smegma was there. They're a really good band as well.
Really good band, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember like the Rectal Smegma vocalist said, "Well, I've got to say something. I've got to say how much we appreciate our youngest fan." And then I was standing there in the public like, "Hi," just I was really happy, just like getting being the youngest one. Like people there, at first before going there, I was like a bit of nervous. Like, aren't people gonna think that's weird? What's a 15-year-old doing here? Or 13-year-old? I was back then. Um, what's she doing here? And then and then people just started being really friendly to me, and to my dad as well. Like, yeah, you've raised your kid really well. Like, that's something
Yeah, great.
I'd love to hear. So,
Yeah, awesome.
question number 9: If if you would make a top 3 list of with countries that have like the best Gorgon bands, what would it be? I think like for you Brazil would be one.
Well, let me say, uh, uh, with this Facebook thing, I'm finding out that there are many bands all over the world nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of guy who's always updated with
Yeah.
our grind stuff. I'm, as I told you, I've always been more like a metal guy.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and even as a metal guy, I'm not updated with everything. Uh, I'm kind I'm kind of doing my own thing, finding out some new stuff from time to time,
Yeah.
but not always. So if I make a list nowadays, there will probably be people telling me, "Hey, how can you miss this? How can you miss that?"
Yeah.
Because because I'm not the kind of guy who who has the statistics,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stats.
yeah,
But if you ask me my personal favorites,
yeah,
well, Brazil is one of the greatest things that ever happened to this music.
yeah,
Brazil is awesome. Uh, but the Czech Republic is
yeah,
terrific because there are so many good bands, and I've been there. I spent three months working there 6 years ago.
yeah,
I have a special kind of love for that country.
yeah,
The Czech Republic is like, I mean, I go there and without having been there before, I felt like home. I mean,
yeah, like a
and
second home.
second home and metal people, great people are so nice that it has a place in my heart.
Yeah,
And in the country that makes me nostalgic, uh, because it was my favorite grind country back in the day, 18 years ago. It was your country, the Netherlands.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, back in the day, one guy from Eindhoven, no, from somewhere else, from some part of the Netherlands, told me he was moving to Eindhoven because it was called the Gore City, and there
yeah,
were many Gore grind bands in Eindhoven, and yeah, it was special. I know things have changed. I've lost contact with some people from there. There are not. There are not so many things. I mean, there's always something, but there are not the same things I was used to going on there. I mean, everything changes. But the Netherlands and especially Eindhoven also have a special place in my heart.
yeah,
You know, and also because I have good memories of visiting you and your father.
yeah,
But if you ask me about music, I mean, uh, when I was a late teenager, alone in my room, getting weird stuff to listen to, there was Tumor, Smash, Cops, Last of Humanity,
yeah,
Carnival of Carnage. Of course, everything is around the same group of people, you
yeah,
know. But all of those bands have a special feeling for me because they were so extreme, man.
yeah,
You, you actually could feel they were some kind of demented guys in the basement, uh, going nuts. I mean,
yeah,
if you listen to Urine Festival, it's like, come on. I mean, can this be possible? These underwater vocals, not
yeah,
even pitch shifted. This was underwater vocals, and with this thick, brutal sound, Carnival of Carnage.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
and two more. I mean, there were so many mind blowing stuff from Eindhoven. So in no particular order, my top three countries would be, or places would be Brazil, the Czech Republic, and the Netherlands.
yeah. Like if I with like bands that I really that I really enjoy with gore grind, I'd say my top three, like not ranked indeed, would be the Czech Republic and the Netherlands too. But I'm Mexico. Mexico is one on my list as well.
Oh,
Um,
Mexico.
yeah, because if you look at
Yeah.
Matanza Max or that was shit, I forget the name. Anyway, there are so many bands from Mexico that really sound good as well, and that's
Oh, really?
amazing.
I should check them out. Well, I've never been too much in contact with the Mexican music.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's just my personal taste.
yeah,
There have been bands that don't actually uh, haunt me. You know.
yeah,
Yeah. That. Yeah. I should check them out.
yeah. Okay, I'll send you a song when the
Yeah.
show is over. And then for the last question for today, from a scale from 0 to 10, how much has Go Grind played a role in your life?
Well, it depends on the era.
Yeah, okay, the era. Let's say
On my personal
2006,
era.
2006 and earlier. From that
Well,
era.
yes, all the organic stuff pre 2006, yes, but it depends on my personal era of my life.
Yeah,
Because if you ask me from 2001 to 2006, Gore Grind was the top of the top. I
yeah,
mean, there was nothing beyond that. But since I've always been into metal, one thing happened to me after Putrefaction in Progress by Lighters of Humanity
Yeah.
came out. Everything changed for me because it was so extreme, so great, so awesome
Yeah.
that I said, okay, anything that comes after this will be either an imitation or or something that doesn't fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, okay, let's pay attention to to my old metal tastes, and I
Yeah.
started finding out about black metal,
Yeah.
more that metal that I used to listen to before, thrash and everything.
Yeah.
So before 2006, Gore was my life.
Yeah.
After 2006, it was important because I was playing in Oluparun,
Yeah.
but also listening to metal. And during the last decade, it has been important because it's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
But I'm also very attracted to the fastest metal bands.
Yeah.
Death grind, blasting black metal, thrash metal.
Yeah. I
So
get that.
it depends.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was 11 on the scale. Okay, now I am more balanced. It's one of the things that are part of my life, and I have a special
place. Yeah. So yeah, that were all the questions. I just want to say thank you for joining, and I'm really grateful for you to be here. Like, for next episode, I will be interviewing my dad. That will be live, and hopefully maybe Gutalax, Gutalax, you pronounce in Czechs. I don't know how to call language in English, but I think like growing like the interest and Gore grind, like there's not many much. There's like I think last year a documentary came out about grindcore, and that gave me the inspiration. Like, what about Gore grind? Because there was a small part of that in Gore grind, and it was mostly about Carcass. The first album, Reconstruction, I think it was. And that was really that inspired me. Like, I want to do something that makes the Gore grind a bit more popular, and that's a long time that just wasn't there. But like then podcast came on Spotify, and I was like, I want to start my own, and about Gore grind. So then I immediately bought a microphone and invited you. So yeah.
Great, and it is a great initiative from you. This style has always been overlooked. Even there are people who mock at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very misunderstood. Due to many reasons, but in general, it's something that is always out of the scope for most of the people. Even the extreme metalheads have it out of the scope.
Yeah. Well, I think like that's the end of the episode. I want to thank everyone that has been listening. Let me see how long it takes. How long it took? Almost 50 minutes. Thank you for listening, and I'm really happy to make this podcast. And I think like Tuesday, the 22nd, I think it is. Yeah, 22nd. The episode will launch. So yeah, this is recorded on the 19th December 2020. So thank you all for listening, and I'll hear you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.